social welfare type programs. We can invest in a number of things that we need to do to help our people. But here's the reality of the situation. As long as our economies are not reestablished and don't thrive, we will never come out of that hole. We never will. And if you think at some point in time that the United States government is going to wake up and come back and say, you know what, we really did a disservice to you, we really hurt you on our failed United States policy for the last 200 years, and that they're going to come in and put in the dollar, the infrastructure, the billions of dollars it would take to change what they caused. If you think they're going to do that someday, you've made a horrible mistake. They will never do that. They will always hand feed. They will always keep you dependent. That's the goal. A dependent entity, a dependent government is a government that can be manipulated, can be changed. Your resources can be easier to get at. And so you have to understand that. My belief, even though you'll hear me, and I just came from Washington, D.C. just a few days ago, but hold the federal government's feet to the fire for what is obligated based upon treaties, what was taken from us, what is required under federal law. Hold their feet to the fire. But my dream is that one day our tribal nation, and I hope each and every one of yours, one day we have no dependence whatsoever on the federal and state governments ever again. When you have economic independence, you will be able to help all your people in the ways that you need to. You'll see things disappear, like the drug problems, crime, all the social ills that we have to endure. They will begin to be addressed because we have strong economies. And Carol plays a significant role. We can't have strong economies if our economies are being dictated from the outside. They have to be dictated from within. You have to bring outside people in. You have to create a product. You got to send that off the reservation. You can't change an economy by recirculating the same dollar. You have to have external revenue come in. That means you have to have products. You have to issue out. You have to market out, and you have to get those outside dollars back into the reservation. So these are the things that I wanted to share with you. I had an honor and a privilege in June 28th this past summer. The President of the United States declared an Energy Week, and he asked for tribes to come to the White House. And 8 tribes were invited and into the White House itself, into the Roosevelt Room right next to the Oval Office. And we sat down, and the concern was, or the goal was to sit down with Indian country, the President, the first time under his administration, face to face across the table, 2 feet across the table, and talk about what energy needs are going on out in Indian country and what needs to happen. And only 2 of the tribes were able to actually do a PowerPoint, limited us to 3 to 4 slides, but to do a PowerPoint and to engage on behalf of all tribes across the United States with the President of the United States. Thankfully, one of the tribes was ours, was MHA Nation, the other was Southern Ute. So we're able to say, Mr. President, here's what's going on. And when it came to my turn, I was the last to speak for the day, about an hour and 15-minute meeting with the President of the United States, is to say, Mr. President, you need to understand this. You've seen the slides, but let's just put those slides, those PowerPoints to the side. You need to understand that energy resources, 30% of the non-renewable energy resources in the United States of America are in Indian country. The key to developing that 30%, which is his goal, that's his charge, his goal. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that he out of the bottom of his heart wants to see Native Americans succeed. I can't stand here and say that to you. But he's got a goal called energy dominance, and he knows that 30% is there. So I said, Mr. President, with 30% in Indian country, if you want to get that developed as part of your agenda, here's how you do it. Number 1, we have to be in charge of how we regulate and how we develop our resources on our reservations. Our rules, our laws. And the second thing that you have to do is make sure that we are the primary beneficiary of that sale of our valuable resources. Meaning what? Meaning how we interact with the industry that's going to come in. Meaning primarily on taxation. And if we have those things, we will get that development done, not just in energy, but for all other facets as well. That was the message to the president. And so we've been trying to push hard on that. One of the things regarding tax, because this is the issue on tax, we've had some doors open and doors closed on the interior side, trying to run a study right now, but we got our hands on that study to show the impediments of dual taxation, basically the state taxing activities on trust lands within the reservation. We have shown some survey, they have put together a document that we are now about to get our hands on. But just about 2 months ago, the Department of Energy, the Deputy Secretary of Energy, stood up before our tribal groups and said this, and I will never forget it. After 7 years of laboring up there and arguing and pushing and advocating, we finally had somebody with some position and power to stand up and say, tribes should be the primary regulators of their own reservations. They know how to run their reservations better than we do, so they should do their laws and how they do things, and there should be deference to that. And number two, he said, the only entity that should be taxing on trust lands are the tribes themselves.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It was significant to hear somebody, so it's such a relief to hear that said. And I was so proud, but we got some momentum under this administration. Like I said, I can stand here before you and tell you that I don't agree with everything that the president is doing, in particular in a number of things across the United States. But if we can marry up his goal of getting that 30% developed with our goal of stopping this infringement and intrusion of states on tribes and collecting and taking our revenue away, if we can marry those goals up, then we will get there one way or the other. And that's what the whole purpose in sitting down and has been to this date with subsequent meetings at the White House as well too. You've got to change the rules. You've got to change how you do it. You've got to look at that, not taking that tax as an investment to the tribes, not as a capital cost loss. And so you have to look at it that way. And so we've been pushing on it. And the last thing I'll share with you, being a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, very proud of that. We have veterans in here, all those are veterans. Could you raise your hand for me, please, if you're a veteran of the United States Marine Corps? Large portion. Give them a round of applause. Always a large portion. And I asked you to raise your hand because it's really important. This is what I'm about to share with you. I was allowed to do basically 3 slides is what I prepared in my PowerPoint. One was on the background of all our development in oil and gas, the history, how much production is on Fort Berthold. The second was to show how federal policy and federal rules have failed the tribes and how we have lost hundreds of millions of dollars. That was the second PowerPoint slide with data. The third one, I thought to myself, you know what, if you're going to have a man that has given immense powers and such immense influence over what we do on a reservation, he should understand something more so than data and stats about how much oil and gas is under our ground. He needs to understand something more basic than that, and more promising and more illuminating than that. My third slide was that the statistic was that the comment made that Native American people serve in the United States military at greater proportion than any other race or ethnicity in the United States of America. That's what I shared with you. If you want to talk about how to make America great again, you want to talk about your design to make America great again, then you better understand and respect those who protect America so that America can get great again, or has always been great because of the indigenous people that have fought and died here to protect what is theirs, and still do it today. Mm-hmm. And so it was very important for him to understand that now when he looks at us, we are not simply a faction of the world that he can either like or dislike. He now has an obligation to say, I didn't know that. Now I know that. I know what true Americans are about, and I see what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. So I thought that was very important. I hope it bears fruit one day. And I appreciate being able to share some time and comments with you very much. Mazgadads and Goshte. Thank you.